Howdy, friends and neighbors. My name is Dale Collins, and I would like to speak to you just briefly today about a great man that was laid to rest in Conway, Arkansas. Of course, I'm speaking about former state Senator Stanley Russ, an acquaintance and friend of mine for over 30 years. I first met Senator Russ in the early 80s, somewhere around 1981, 1982 at the latest, because of my involvement in the FFA and the Future Farmers of America here at Conway High School. Of course, anyone that knows anything about the FFA or had any involvement in the FFA got plenty of opportunities to meet Senator Stanley Russ, because he too had been a member of the Future Farmers of America and was one of only 3 people from Conway High School to ever be elected state FFA president. So he continued all those years until the day he died to be an avid supporter of the Future Farmers of America, the 4-H, and was considered a tremendous friend and ally of agriculture in general. He obtained great honors and great positions in life, great awards, all sorts of honors, and they were due him. He was worthy of them, but he was right at home on the farm with his cows, with his hat, and with his tractor. And I want to speak just briefly a tribute to him, because he was such a great man, and he left such a tremendous legacy and shoes that are going to be very, very hard, if not impossible, to fill. Senator Russ was one of the last, if not the last, politicians that had been around for a long time, dating back to the 70s, 60s, 80s, 90s. And there are not many of them like that. And there won't be probably ever again anyone like Senator Russ, because term limits now keeps people from serving in office as long as he did, and keeps people from knowing them like that people got to know him. But I want to speak to you about him because he's such a great man, and want to pay tribute to him because he did so much to shape and to influence my life. Early on, coming from a very poor family on the poor side of town, if you will, and got involved with the Future Farmers of America. And people like Stanley Russ was key and instrumental in encouraging me and in motivating me and inspiring me to pursue various different levels in the FFA, various different offices and positions, and then he continued to be an encouragement later on in life. And one of the great things that could be said about Senator Russ is the fact that he was an encourager, and I believe an encourager to virtually everyone that he come in contact with. It was like it was his ministry and his calling, and it was a great honor to have known him and to have been with him. He loved agriculture, he loved the FFA, he helped the Future Farmers of America in many, many different ways. The year that I was FFA president, during that summer months, he got a law passed in the state legislature and got it changed to where the final say-so and authority over the FFA and the VOAG Agriculture Department at Conway High School would be shifted from the school administration at the high school into the career center there, which made the environment far more friendly toward the FFA and was key in saving the Future Farmers of America chapter in Conway, Arkansas in the early 80s, when it looked like that it was on its way out. Senator Stanley Russ will always be remembered as one of, and if not the single most important person for saving the FFA in Conway. And he remained an ally of the FFA all the way until the end. The FFA, the young people in general, and the agriculture could always count on him for his help, for his support, for his encouragement, and he helped in many ways, including raising funds, including for scholarships and for various different projects and programs. You could count on his yearly donation, contribution to those. And he was forevermore speaking to the FFA banquets and meetings and conventions. And I would like to say here today that there are no telling how many people that are in jail or prison today that their lives would have been totally changed and they would be on a different road today had they just stopped and listened to what Senator Russ had to say, to his encouragement, to his kindness, to his love that just radiated out of his life toward young people of all kinds and colors and races and backgrounds. He was a great man, and he loved young people, and he believed in this great country of ours, and he believed in serving the people, and he'll always be remembered for that. And he served the people not only when he was in office like so many politicians do, but he served the people and the public right up until he just absolutely wasn't able to get out of his house. He was a great man. But I noted down some things that he's done, how he came by. He was meek, he was humble, and I was with him on a number of events, and he wrote me a number of letters. I have laying here beside my Bible on my desk today, 2 files from my FFA and Future Farmers of America days, and just looking through the very tops of them, I found a number of letters that Senator Russ wrote me and wrote on my behalf. And he was always doing that. And he always sent clips from the local newspaper to students and young people who had accomplished something. He sent them a little memento as an encouragement for what they had done. And was a great man for encouraging young people. He believed in our country, and he believed in our country's future, and he invested heavily in the young people that would be the young youth today, but would be the leaders tomorrow. And he went out of office, of course. He continued to be a great man, continued to be a public servant. And I was driving down the highway one day, and I said, "Oh my, look there, there's Senator Russ." And I kind of laughed because he was out in the middle of the intersection, had a little trash bag, and he was picking up the trash. And I found out later, it didn't take long, that I heard that that was one of the things he'd done in his retirement. He continued to serve the public. Being a minister, being a pastor here at Mount Zion Deeper Life Fellowship in Conway, Arkansas, I've seen him numerous times at the funeral home when he would drop in almost on a weekly, perhaps every week basis. He would go from room to room and sign the book for the people that had passed away that week. Senator Russ could often be found at the hospital visiting the sick. And a few years ago, I got bad sick. I was in the hospital for nearly 5 months, off work for a year. Senator Stanley Russ came to the hospital a number of times here in Conway, and even down at UAMS in Little Rock. He made the trip and come see me there, and he come to see me and visit after I was at home here. And he brought me something, because most everybody knows that Senator Russ, his life insurance office was downtown, there in the heart of Conway by Toadsuck Square. And a few years ago, the building's owners decided to remodel the building, turn it into some different things, and there was no longer a plan to keep offices in the building. And Senator Russ lost his lease there on his location, and to a lot of us, that was the historic part of the building, was Senator Russ's office, and he had to move his office elsewhere. And he brought me out when he came to my house a memento that he had kept on his wall in his office, and it is the last known sign that I know of anywhere around from when I ran for state FFA president in 1984. And Senator Russ shared with me that he had kept this on the wall of his office as a memento when he worked so hard to try to help me get elected state FFA president in 1983 and 84, and he wanted me to have it after his office closed down, but it had stayed on his wall all those years from 1993 and 94 until he closed his office, and he had kept it at home for some time, and he personally brought it out to my house to present it to me. Just a great man. And one time our church youth group loaded on the bus, and we went around town giving out fruit baskets, and Senator Russ's name got put on the list. and they pulled the bus up in their yard, and quite a few of them got out and went up to the door and rang the doorbell, and Senator Russ come to the door, and they presented him with a fruit basket on behalf of the young people and thanked him for his years of public service. And just like the fine Southern gentleman that he was, he invited them in, the entire group. Now, they had a lot of people on the list, and they used wisdom and declined to go in and visit with him. But I thought it was very nice and awesome that he would invite a youth group in of total strangers to come in and to visit for a few minutes. But that was just the type of man he was. He wasn't never put on. He was the real deal. And I appreciate him for it today. He knew politics inside and out. And I remember the night that on election night that John McCain was running against Obama for the office of president. And we got the honor and the opportunity to sit at the same table with Stanley Russ at the election night victory party here in Conway. And as the election results started to come in and trickle in, and it was pretty early on in the night, the results came in for a certain state, and they went over the television, and Senator Russ looked over at me, and he said, well, that's it. Obama's going to be the next president. You know, he's won. And John McCain has lost. And John McCain had lost that particular state up there. And I thought, well, you know, it's real early in the night, and everybody was thinking maybe he'll make a comeback or do better. But Senator Russ knew the game. He knew politics. He knew how it counted up and how it stacked up. He was way ahead of most folks on that. And he knew that if John McCain didn't win that particular state, he just didn't have a path to the White House. And so it was a great honor for us, the children and the wife, to get to sit with him that night. He served the public right up until the very end. He was a close friend of many, many people and an acquaintance. And I remember going and eating with him, meeting with him, eating with him, and having lunch with him, and the discussions that we had. And I want to commend his family today for all those years that I'm sure they sacrificed while he was out talking to other young people, while he was out reaching out to people and doing the things that he did. And I know it's a sacrifice that he made and they made as well. But on behalf of the future farmers of America, a former president here, former members all over the state, and certainly here in this area, and on behalf of young people in general, Stanley Russ was somebody that helped turn around my life. He's somebody that the good Lord used to turn around my life and to make me a better person today. And I appreciate what he has done for me personally, for our family, and I appreciate what he's done for so many other people. And I just wanted to put this little tribute out to you because Stanley Russ was, in fact, a great man, and he leaves a tremendous legacy behind. I trust that this short video will be a challenge to some of you watching to help fill in the gap and do what the family said do. Pick up some trash. Find you a place to work and to volunteer and to do and to be a help and to be a good steward of what God has blessed us all with and God has given us. And let's remember the example of this great man. God bless you.